Over 2,000 locally manufactured arms destroyed in Accra.
Preparation of the Petroleum Data Management Bill is on course, says the Petroleum Commission.
This is News Hour, live on GBC24 and GTV. My name is Shirley Annan.
And I'm Siyoko Kwakuche. Good evening and you're welcome. Over 2,000 locally manufactured small arms seized from various parts of the country were burnt in Accra. Experts have cautioned that the proliferation of such illicit weapons contributes largely to the start and fueling of conflicts across the globe. The exercise was part of activities marking this year's UN Weapon Destruction Day. A report by Winifred Efum.
The reduction of illicit weapons in circulation is essential in creating a safe and secure environment for development. The illicit trade in small arms and light weapons does not only lead to protracted conflicts, it as well creates a sense of insecurity. Ghana, a UN and ECOWAS member country committed to clamping down on illegal possession and use of these weapons, joined the world to mark this year's World Weapons Destruction Day. Over 2,000 locally made artisanal weapons were set ablaze in Accra. They included AK-47, hammer gun, bow and arrow, spears, G3 and double barrel. There has been a growing debate on whether government should completely shut down the activities of local artisans who manufacture these weapons or channel their talents to support the economy. The Minister for the Interior, Mr. Prosper Bani, said a national policy will soon be drawn on the way forward for our local artisans.
Government's focus in tackling small arms proliferation will not only focus primarily on regulating the supply side of these small arms, but we will develop mechanisms and mobilize the political will to address the demand side as well. That means dealing with unresolved disputes by addressing the root causes of conflicts, becoming more vigilant on the threat of terrorism, and confronting the factors enhancing organized crime.
The Diocesan Bishop of the Anglican Church, Right Reverend Dr. Daniel Toto, advised Ghanaians to use dialogue to resolve their differences.
Sooner, we shall be entering into the election period, where campaigns will move from place to place. And I want to play it with all and sundry that we should be circumspect in our. It will not create an environment for conflict, an environment for war, and an environment for scatter situation.
The West African Network for Peace Building, WANEP, and the United Nations Development Programme, UNDP, believe the fight against illicit possession and use of weapons must be a collective responsibility. The National Commission on Small Arms and Light Weapons is marking all weapons in official state armories with a unique serial number to prevent them from leaking into the illicit market. Licensed weapons in the hands of civilians will also be marked the same way. For GBC24, Winifred Efum, Accra.
A conference on social behavior and conflict management has taken place in Cape Coast with a call on Ghanaians to abide by the rules governing elections. It was organized by the Department of Sociology and Anthropology at the University of Cape Coast.
The conference forms an integral part of the Department of Sociology and Anthropology's original sandwich program in Certificate of Conflict Management and Personal Development. The program was introduced in 2003 in response to some major developments in the country, such as the 2001 May 9 stadium disaster, in which more than 100 people lost their lives. Speaking at the forum, the head of department at the Sociology and Anthropology at the University of Cape Coast, Dr. Brimpong Oseitutu, said the department was acting on its vision as a center of research into relevant sociocultural issues to help manage conflict situations. The Central Regional Director of the Electoral Commission, Mrs. Philomena Edusei, who spoke on the topic, setting the agenda for peaceful, free and fair elections, the role of the Electoral Commission, entreated Ghanaians to abide by the rules and regulations governing elections. She noted that the Electoral Commission is putting in place measures to ensure that the upcoming general election is conducted in a peaceful and transparent manner.
After 6 successful elections under this fourth republic, one would have thought that the usual anxiety and apprehension will go down as we go to the polls the 7th time in November this year. Unfortunately, Ghana's election continues to be characterized by tension, intense rivalry, and animosity. It looks like it is becoming a do and die affair that has the tendency of degenerating into dispute and violence. Peace is very essential for development, and as a country, we should not contemplate or wish to see the kind of violence experienced in the aftermath of elections in the past in other African countries like Kenya, Ivory Coast, Uganda, Zimbabwe, and even Nigeria.
The head of the Political Science Department at the University of Ghana, Dr. Bosman Asari, spoke about the important roles of the security agencies and the media in credible election.
If Ghana is thinking about having an electoral system that is so credible, where voters are going to vote and they are not going to be intimidated, then we need the security agencies. The security agencies must work in concert with other stakeholders. The people must be aware. These are the measures the agencies have put in place, and individuals can also make certain inputs.
An international conflict management expert, Dr. Joseph Ajay, underscored the need for Ghana to deepen its democratic frontiers, especially during the upcoming elections. She also proposed some short and long-term measures to help in shaping Ghana's democracy.
Ghana should begin to rethink the zero-sum system that we practice here, the majoritarian system, the 50+1 system that we practice here. I'm thinking of a limited PR system as practiced in Benin, where we have a threshold. And in that threshold, if we say anybody who gets 40% qualifies to go to parliament, that should be done. I believe if we do that, the kind of competition that we invest into elections will go down.
About 600 graduate students have completed their various fields of study at the Ghana Institute of Management and Public Administration, GIMPA in Accra. They received certificates in philosophy, public administration, management information systems, and business administration. Another report by Winifred Afum.
The 2016 graduating class saw students being awarded with Executive Masters, MPhil, and the Master of Sciences (MSc) degrees. For GIMPA, this year's graduation is special as it marks the end of the tenure of its rector, Professor Franklin Echampon Menu. In a farewell speech, Mr. Menu enumerated projects currently underway and hoped that his successor will see to its completion.
GIMPA has started the process of developing a new strategic plan for the next 5 years. It's hoped that the new plan will bring about improvements in service delivery and greater human resource capabilities. We have already begun the process of enhancing collaboration with alumni, private and public sector organizations. This is expected to make GIMPA more contextually relevant.
The parish priest of the Christ the King Catholic Church, Reverend Father Andrew Campbell, on his part, encouraged the students to make good use of the knowledge gained at GIMPA in the world of work.
It's been said that there are two different Latin roots to the English word education. They are educare, which means to train or to mold, or educere means to lead out. You have been trained and molded by the faculty of GIMPA to lead. You've been equipped to aid your families and societies with the knowledge that you have acquired during your period of formation.
Portia Adukai Hammond was overall best student.
It was challenging, yes, and with the support of my family and the grace of God, come this far. I want to say all thanks to God, and with hard work, you can achieve whatever you set your mind.
GIMPA was originally a joint special fund project between the government of Ghana and the United Nations. In 1966, when the joint project ended, the UN formally handed the institute to Ghana. For GBC24, Winifred Ofum, Accra.
At a farmers' deba at Asin Senchim in the Asin North Municipal Assembly, the youth were once again encouraged to venture into agriculture to enjoy its immense benefits. The deba was to welcome a visiting team from Milton Hershey's School in the U.S. who will spend a week on the farms for first-hand experience in cocoa farming. Hershey's is the largest chocolate manufacturer in North America.
Asin Senchim is one of the vibrant cocoa producing areas in Ghana and has been adjudged the best in Asin North. Coconuts, oil palm and oranges also abound in the town. Like most in the rural areas, Asin Senchim grapples with the issue of bad roads and no water, although the main stretch leading to the town is under construction. It has one school, but the JHS students have their classes in this uncompleted building. The only toilet facility in the school poses a serious danger to the school children. The headmaster of the school, Mr. Francis Jemfi, said there have been instances where some of the school children have fallen into the pit. Sometimes, too, they lose their footwear. The town also gets flooded because the river close by overflows its banks whenever it rains. In spite of these challenges, unlike most areas in the country, the youth of the area take farming, especially the cultivation of cocoa, seriously. So far, for 2 consecutive years, in 2012 and 2013, the national best youth leader in cocoa farming came from the area. The deba in honor of the visiting group from the Milton Hershey School in Pennsylvania, USA, was to welcome the group who are on a working tour to the area. The students will spend some time with the farmers and on their farms to learn about the farming processes used. It was also to acknowledge the contribution of the community in Ghana's cocoa production.
We're very blessed by this experience. And next week, we hope to participate in some service by planting some seedlings on the farms here locally and learning even more about the work that you do.
The regional chief farmer, Nana Kwesi Fori, applauded the youth of the area for their hard work in making the central region the second best region in farming, coming after the Brong-Ahafo region.
I will urge the youth to continue to work hard for prosperity.
The regional manager of the Cocoa Health Extension Division, Dr. Eugene Ofori Jemfi, had a word of advice for the farmers.
The fertilizer given to you is meant for the farms and not to be kept in the homes.
Mr. Samuel Toby is one of the enterprising young farmers in Asin Senchim. Through hard work and perseverance, he was adjudged the 2013 National Best Youth Leader in cocoa farming.
As I'm speaking now, I'm having about 25 acres of cocoa land. I did so many things in cocoa farming. I could say there is much money in cocoa farming. I built my own houses. My children are able to continue their education very well.
He urged the youth to take up agriculture as it is lucrative.
I would like the youth to come into the cocoa farming. There is money in the bush here, but not in towns.
The Hershey's Company, the largest chocolate manufacturing company in North America, buys a large quantity of its cocoa from Ghana.
The call at a recent regional forum in Tamale was for effective collaboration and cooperation among centralized and decentralized institutions at all levels of government. This is seen as key to ensuring judicious use of resources for efficient service delivery. Participants were reminded of the need to push forward the development agenda.
The document for inter-service and sectional collaboration and cooperation system outlines the guidelines for effective cooperation among departments and agencies The forum organized by the local government service discussed some provisions in the document and way forward. The Northern Regional Coordinating Director, Alhaji Al-Hassan Ishahaku, said it is sometimes difficult to determine the level of cooperation among the various institutions since some deliver different services. He was optimistic that the forum would deepen their understanding on the relevance of collaboration to champion the cause of development.
One of the requirements of this system is that if at the regional level or the district level we request an MDA to provide information, it shall be the responsibility of the MDA to provide the information. If you don't provide, it means that you are obstructing the work of the local authority or the regional level. It's no longer up to you to decide whether I want to provide that information or not. Meetings of the assembly, if you are invited, you must appear. If you cannot, then you delegate someone to represent the institution and then report.
At Nestle Ghana Limited's community outreach program at Osu in Accra, mothers, caregivers and children were educated on the importance of breakfast and the need for a balanced diet to ensure optimal growth of their children. The campaign, the 24th in a series, is known as Nido Nutrition Day for mothers, caregivers and children in the Osu community. Under this initiative, which began in 2015 with support from the Ghana Education Service, 24 selected schools and communities have benefited. Nestle Ghana has reached out to over 11,000 mothers and caregivers across the country, educating them on nutrients that children require to boost physical and mental development. The Osu community is the latest to benefit from the outreach. Mothers and caregivers were offered the opportunity to learn about good nutrition through a play and interactive games.
Calcium giving foods, yes. Yes.
Fish bone, crab or banana calcium.
There were also thoughts about balanced diets, importance of breakfast, and the health benefits of nutrients like calcium, iron, and vitamins in the required amounts in their diets, essential micronutrients which build a strong immune system for children. The Corporate Communications Manager of Nestle Ghana, Mr. Aaron Fenu, emphasized that Nestle as a global brand was not only committed to providing nutritious products to consumers, but concerned with battling malnutrition to improve on the quality of health of children in schools.
We have reached over 11,000 mothers in the Accra, Northern, Western, Ashanti, Volta, Central, Brongahafo, and Eastern regions. Nestle, being a nutrition, health, and wellness company, has always contributed to help address the issues of micronutrient deficiencies. Nestle has made a global commitment to help reduce the risk of undernutrition through micronutrient fortification and aims to reach 200 billion annual servings of micronutrient fortified foods and beverages worldwide by the end of 2016.
The Osu Circuit Supervisor at the Ghana Education Service, Mrs. Francisca Anaba, commended Nestle Ghana and urged the company to extend the initiative to hard-to-reach communities where nutritional levels of children are low. The Category Development Manager of Nestle Ghana, Mr. Samuel Ejeyabua, reiterated Nestle's commitment to promote healthy living.
Through this particular educative program, we seek to kind of educate them, equip them, and then also inform them about the importance of breakfast, because breakfast is the important meal of the day. So through this program, we also outreach to them, give them insights on the importance of balanced diets. So why certain food components like Glow, Grow, and then Go are important for their wards.
Mrs. Benis Adu won the quiz competition and received 500 Ghana cedis and products from Nestle. Mothers also took home packages from Nestle. The business news is next. Please stay with us.
Thanks for staying on. In business news, the Petroleum Commission says the preparation of the Petroleum Data Management Regulation Bill is not late, although it is 4 years into the preparation. The preparation of the bill, which started in 2012, allows players to make a prediction of what is likely to be on the ground. It also provides some preliminary data that will cut down the risk in finding the resources. Even though the bill is yet to be laid before Parliament for deliberation, the Chief Executive Officer of the Petroleum Commission, Mr. Theophilus Ahirian, says the painstaking approach will make the bill meet international standards.
Drafting of regulations take a lot of time. You want to be sure. I mean, once you pass into regulation, it is law. So if somebody wants to submit seismic data to you, and you say what you want, it's a Sec D. If the person has a Sec A or Sec B, he cannot submit it to you, and it's been passed by Parliament. So until Parliament revises that data set cannot be received. So it is very, very important. And if you don't go through that process, you would write a law, but might not be that very, very helpful. Now remember, there are a number of institutions involved, and you need to be sure that you've contacted everybody. You also want to be sure that the format in Ghana is consistent with international practice. You want to see trends that are happening in countries that are very prominent in oil and gas production. So it takes a while, but we are happy we are where we are today. And as you recall, what we are doing now in this second half of the year is that 3 big regulations for this industry are being passed. This data management is one, but for those who were here in the last few weeks, we also had a similar session for health, safety, and environment, a very big regulation which is done. We also had one for petroleum measurements as well. So considering the fact that we didn't have these regulations for a long time, and for this year, we are hopefully going to pass 3 of these big regulations. I think it's a job well done.
The Norwegian government extended support of $2.1 million for the professional development of 150 Tanzanian female engineers in a span of 5 years.
The Deputy Minister for Works, Transport and Communications said 150 female graduate engineers will benefit from the project intended to increase the number of professional female engineers in the second largest economy in East Africa. The Norwegian government made its first support for the program in 2010 when it disbursed $1.5 million to train 300 female graduate engineers. The chairman of the Engineering Registration Board, ERB, said the support, which completed government financing of apprenticeship programs for graduate engineers, was necessary for accomplishing the nation's goal of attaining an industrial economy and middle income status by 2025. The Norwegian ambassador to Tanzania, who signed a package agreement on behalf of his government, said such support was vital for the economic empowerment of women. The aim of the support is to enable graduate female engineers to positively participate in the program and acquire professional competence so as to increase the number of professional engineers over the 5-year period.
And that's it for the business news. My journey is next.
Edward Nyakun, welcome to my journey. Tonight I'm taking you to a town near Nkonya Rupon in the Volta region, and it looks as if the Ghanaian electorate have realized that the best time to ask for their share of national cake is when elections are due. Of late, there has been a trend where communities, especially in the rural areas, are asking for their roads, electricity, schools, and market to be fixed before they will exercise their franchise. Ajamanso is one of the communities in the Biakuya district in the Volta region. I visited in Nkonya Rupon for a funeral, but while there I got to know that fish is not all that expensive in the area compared with Accra. So I decided to visit one of the communities along the Volta River by the name Ajamansu. But Ajamansu is off the main road of Nkonya and Tumda, but the 7 miles journey was full of adventure. The minibus I was traveling with got stuck along the way because the road was muddy. And because I'm a pescatarian, that is someone who prefers fish to meat, and friends and I opted to walk to Ajamansu. We were not bothered at all about the walk because we saw it as an opportunity to burn some calories and also enjoy fresh air from the countryside, which is devoid of carbon. The bad nature of the road has led to the use of motorbikes for commercial purposes. Dubbed Okada, it has put most of the young men in the area into business, and each trip on the 7 miles journey cost a passenger 5 cedis. Fortunately, we met a fish seller who was on a motorbike going to Ntunda to do business. I asked for the price of the tilapia. She said these big ones are going for 50 cedis, while the smaller ones are for 20 cedis. From here, we continued our journey to Ajamansu, and the first person we met was another trader, Peace Aladi. Peace 2 said 3 pieces of medium-sized tilapia cost 20 cedis. Patricia Sobote is one of the leading traders in the village. She's not only a fishmonger but also sells pastries. She has customers who bring the fish to her at her home. She has 6 children, and one of them is this 11-year-old boy, Moses. Patricia has been doing this business for the past 10 years, and she told me that this bowl of fish costs 300 Ghana cedis. And when the fish is smoked, 3 are sold for 20 cedis. She explained that the price of a fish is also determined by the type. For instance, what she has on fire is called Oheneba in a can, which means a prince. This type of fish commands premium price compared with the tilapia. From Patricia's base, I went to the riverside to find out whether the price would be cheaper there than the village. But surprisingly, the price of a fish at the shores of the Volta River at Ajamansu was, in my view, still expensive. The inhabitants of Ajamansu blamed the increase in the price of fish to several factors, including the high cost of outboard motors, premixed fuel, and the bad nature of the road, which has made access to the village difficult. The deplorable state of the road has discouraged most commercial drivers in the Nkonya area from plying the Ntumda and Ajamansu route. But to everything, there is an exception. That is exactly what Philip Senyo has been doing. Philip has been doing business on this route for the past 10 years and says politicians have promised to tar the road for them, but it has not been done. So to him, the way out is to tell politicians that no road, no vote.
If the road is not tarred, we will not vote.
Peace Aladi also shares a view of Philip and said sometimes they have to push vehicles that are finding it difficult to drive through the mud.
Sometimes we are compelled to walk this long distance with our goods on our heads due to the bad nature of the road.
One of the opinion leaders in Ajamansu is John Bote. John, who can be described as a good Samaritan, accompanied me on my way from the village to where the minibus I was traveling with was forced to park because of the bad road. He hails from Nungwa but has been living here for the past 21 years. John, who doubles as a fisherman and a pastor, says due to the reluctance of drivers to ply the route, his children used to walk 7 miles out in Tumda and 7 miles back to Ajamansu. But now he's been compelled to rent a room in Ntumda for them because the school for the village is still under construction.
We don't have electricity, so we have to buy solar power banks to charge our phones.
Because of electricity. Jamansu, I made a stopover in Kwando to buy fufu and light soup with tilapia. But to my surprise, the tilapia that was being sold at a Jamansu for 5 cedis, half of that was going for 15 cedis at a restaurant by the name Always in Kwando. This set me thinking because Kpando is just 30 minutes away from Ajamansu, and even in Accra, this piece of tilapia will not cost that much. Well, I went to Nkonya Urupon for a funeral, but it gave me the opportunity to see another side of Ghana, where cost of living is soaring, and also the rural folks like Ajamansu are asking politicians to fix their problems for them before they will cast their votes. The people of Ajamansu are not the only community which have been threatening that they will not take part in the 2016 elections till their roads are tarred. The people of Denjra also staged a protest demanding that their roads should be fixed. I think that it is high time the National Commission on Civic Education (NCCE) and civil society groups embark on educational campaign on rights and responsibilities of citizens in order to calm the wave of apathy that is threatening to sweep over the country before the 2016 elections. Edward Nyako, reporting from Ajamansu in the Volta region. Well, you might have heard about Ajamansu and their plea for electricity and their roads to be fixed. Next time, I'll bring you another story.
We have sports coming up. Please stay with us.
Now to the sports side of the news, the Vice Chancellor of the University of Cape Coast, Professor Domwini Kupele, has inaugurated a new tennis court at the Senior Clubhouse in University of Cape Coast. The facility comes as a big relief to tennis lovers in the university community.
This is the new tennis court at the Senior Clubhouse at the University of Cape Coast. The project, which started in 2010, had support from Ashford. It cost 53,000 cedis. Inaugurating the facility, the Vice Chancellor of the University of Cape Coast, Professor Domwini Kupele, urged the management of the facility to make good use of it.
We just want to encourage not only members of the university community, but members from town, civil society, so that we can interact a lot more. It's one way of attracting our brothers and sisters who are in town to join us on campus and get to understand what we are doing. And so I hope the Senior Clubhouse will manage the business well so that they can generate funds to maintain it.
The Marketing and Communications Manager of Ashford, Joe Ampemda Kwimpi, was happy to have contributed to the completion of the project.
We have come in here in two parts. First, as business people, where we transact business with this prestigious university. And then secondly, as part of our corporate social responsibility, we decided that, yes, if such an institution needs a facility like this and we can assist them, why not?
The facility is expected to encourage competition among players in the university community, as well as encourage more young ones to take to the sports.
The Ministry of Youth and Sports has endorsed the upcoming beach soccer unity match. The event aims at promoting peace ahead of the upcoming election.
The La Beach Soccer Arena will be hosting the first Beach Soccer Unity Cup tournament. The two-day championship will involve teams from the Greater Accra, Western, Central and Volta regions. In a bid to whip up the interest of the event, a delegation from the Ghana Beach Soccer Association has paid a courtesy call on the Youth and Sports Minister. It was, among other things, to officially invite him for the championship.
We're inviting you to the maiden event of the Unity Cup, which will be next week, Saturday, at the Laboma Beach Resort. Hopefully you'll be able to attend or you'll be represented. And we also want to appeal to you to support beach soccer. You've said you do that, but we really want to make a passionate appeal for you to help us with infrastructure, logistics, and sponsorship.
We shall certainly do our best. It's something we have discussed at the management level, that in our next budget we shall definitely make provision for some infrastructure development for beach soccer.
The trophy at stake was officially presented to the minister.
The Ghana Olympic Committee has launched its corporate and media events for Rio 2016. The Rio Games starts from August 5th and ends on the 21st.
The gathering at the Town Palace Hotel in Accra was to brief the media and corporate entities partnering the GOC on plans in place for a smooth participation at the upcoming Olympic Games in Rio. With less than a month to go for the Games, the president of the Ghana Olympic Committee, GOC, Professor Francis Dodu, said they are ready to have a trouble-free participation.
Our athletes right now, most immediately, are trying to get ready for the Olympic Games. They need all the support they can get, and so again, this event and the contributions that you have made are really useful. Our athletes in various sports have endeavored over the last few months to try to qualify for the Olympics. Some have been able to make it and some have not. But even with those who have not, I think that the effort that they put in bodes really well for the future and for the Commonwealth Games that we'll have in 2 years and for ultimately the 2020 Rio Olympics.
The chef de mission of Team Ghana to Rio 2016, Mr. Chris Silfi, gave a brief presentation on Rio.
There have been various competitions, regional, national, Commonwealth Games, African Championship, and all African Games, all cascading into qualifying through point systems or quota systems, universality, standards, competitions, and team events. But I think the climax really boils down to when we had to go through this qualifying series. It may interest you to know that the Ghana Olympic Committee spent about $170,000 sponsoring federations to travel for these competitions to try and qualify. The cutoff point ends on the 8th of June when we have the last, 8th of July, sorry, when we have the last competition to try and qualify more athletes.
Some partners used the occasion to announce their packages for Team Ghana. The Deputy Minister for Youth and Sports, Mr. Vincent Opona Samoa, praised the GOC for the way they are handling their preparations.
We appreciate you for the level of transparency that you are so far exhibited. And on this note, I will recommend the GOC to our corporate sponsors, those that have already made some steps and those out there to continue to sponsor the GOC and their activities, because we are sure that this accountability is their hallmark.
It is the hope of the GOC that athletes will make an impact at the Games.
Sit for sports. Entertainment news is next.
And now to some entertainment news. A Colombian poet, Maria Gomez Lara, has had a literary encounter with the Pan-African Writers Association in Accra. The poet, who has an African ancestry, was invited by the African writers to help rekindle the Pan-African spirit through the medium of poetry.
Poetry and the spoken word are some of the tools that Africa used in the struggle for independence. Poetry is also a medium used by Africans to express their culture and socio-economic aspiration. It was to keep up the spirit of Pan-Africanism that the Pan-African Writers Association POWER hosted the Colombian poet Maria Gomez Lara, who has an African ancestry.
Pude rescatar del naufragio un trozo de leña, hueco de tormenta, atravesado por tanta agua salada.
She gave a rendition of some of her poems.
Your burning temple next to mine, I repeat Blaga's verses during the storm, like a spell, a charm, something of yours.
Maria Gomez Lara also addressed a question concerning her use of multicolored clothes.
I dress very colorfully all the time, and this is something that people remark, and it's not always good. You know, like sometimes they remark this for good, but sometimes not. I notice, for example, with the flower and the colors and all that, I notice that many times people don't take seriously what I say.
Other participants also recited poems.
I will tell of independence. I will tell of Vanna Nkrumah, Vanna Modibo Keita, Vanna Abdel Nasir, Vanna Tata Madiba Mandela.
Others say the color of love is lilac, representations of beauty, softness, and gentleness. Love is indeed beautiful.
Among those who attended the event was the Colombian ambassador to Ghana, Mrs. Claudia Tebe Quintino, and president of the Ghana Association of Writers, GAW, Mr. Kwesi Janapentin.
Children from different schools in Accra gathered at the Independence Square to put up performances ahead of the election. The various performances was to call for peace before, during and after the election.
The program attracted children from various schools. It featured poetry recitals.
Peace, peace, peace. How volatile you are. I'ma say what could spank the child of Aquile Rose for being indisciplined. Unity was the hallmark of the nation. But what do we see today? Right has taken over our moral standards. Politicians insulting on various media platforms. Leaders making negative tribal comments causes fear and panic.
This was followed by a choreography from students of SS Peter and Paul, Mother's Joy and Shiloh School Complex, all in Accra. There were also some traditional dance performances by the students. An organizer of the event, Belinda Yaira, explains the objective of the event.
Keep Peace Concert is actually a program to talk about the election, as in to bring about violence-free election, as in to bring peace towards this coming election.
Thank you for watching news. Thank you for watching. This week is at 10:30. Make a date with us.
Good evening.